Welcome back to the channel. We have a serious episode. I mean, not a serious. We have an important episode, an episode out of necessity. There has been a lot of drama when the Real Housewives of New Jersey world. They had to cancel the reunion episode, and instead of that, we got an episode where the cast is reacting to their finale. And I was sort of done with it, but I've had so many people in my comments ask me to react to this video that I'm going to watch it. So apparently there is plenty of drama. So if you're new here, my name is David Colarossi. I am a licensed psychologist, and for fun in the evenings, I react to events in pop culture, you know, serious stuff like Real Housewives of New Jersey. And the goal of the channel is to use these events in pop culture to help people better understand psychological concepts. I guess I do that and, you know, make fun of pop culture also. I'm not sure that that's really adaptive for my channel, but that's kind of what it's turned into.
Fucking lying? What? You fucking never said that. It's a serious thing to me that you're telling me you said something, you fucking did it.
Okay, besides the fact that that was a nuts response from Dolores, a totally unreasonable response from Dolores. What's interesting, I think, is the reaction of Margaret and Jen, who went over to her and comforted her, right? Dolores flies off the handle, calls her a don't fucking lie to me, right? And we're talking about whether or not it was a lie, it was a insignificant lie. And she just loses it. And instead of instead of Jen and Margaret backing up and saying, don't ever do that again, that was unreasonable, their response is, oh, it's okay, sweetheart, right? They are validating and supporting the person that showed the abusive behavior.
I'm sorry that I yelled. I only yell at my sisters like that. I can't. Listen, you know I don't get that mad at someone I don't care about. You have to understand that.
In that dynamic, the reason why I'm bringing it up, that dynamic is pretty common. When you have someone that is that intense, that reactive, it's very difficult to give them clear feedback in the moment.
By the way, I never saw anything de-escalate that quickly.
Well, because
it was great. It was like it went from here to here.
It de-escalated quickly because the two of them immediately validated her and told her it was okay. It de-escalated because they ran away from the conflict. It de-escalated because they weren't able to tell Dolores to knock that behavior off.
Tell her to stay away from our family. And you know what? I hope Margaret and her family suffer. You know, I hope her fucking son suffers.
Hold on. Can we pause it? I hope her son suffers.
I am horrified.
You shouldn't be. You have to be.
All right, there's two responses here. My first genuine response is that this is just recreational outrage. Like, I've heard about this. I know this moment. I knew that this moment existed. And Louie says something, you know, I hope her son suffers. I don't think that Margaret has to go and do the sign of the cross. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it has no impact on her son. Who gives a shit? Really, who gives a shit? Is he tangibly attacking her son? If not, do we really care? That's response one. It's response A, not probably a popular one. Response B is, oh my God, what a psycho. How could this guy attack, even hint at something negative happening to Margaret's son? I think the answer is Louie is not a very thoughtful guy. Louie is not a very composed guy. I think Louie is a slippery, devious man that is super manipulative, and I think he's doing everything he can to get at Margaret. Do I think he really wants something bad to happen to her son? No. Do I think he wants her to experience immeasurable distress? Yes. And the way to get to her is to comment on her son. But let's just be clear, he's just commenting on her son. Come on, it's not that big of a deal.
That was probably one of the lowest lows I've ever seen said on the Housewives of New Jersey.
That is one of the lowest lows I've ever seen said on the Housewives of New Jersey. Was it lower than, like, just 1 minute ago, Dolores telling Margaret that she's a cunt? Is that? I guess. It's just much to do about nothing. The reality is, at the end of the day, Margaret's son wasn't hurt. But if he was hurt, he would need to go to the doctor, which would be a good transition to the sponsor for today's video, ZocDoc. Look, finding a trusted provider can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. Whether or not you're looking for a doctor, a dentist, a specialist, it's difficult to know whether or not a provider has the expertise you're looking for, whether or not they're located near you, whether or not they accept your insurance, whether or not they have time on their calendar to fit you in. It can be an overwhelming and stressful process. And that's where the sponsor for today's video, ZocDoc, comes in. I know ZocDoc offers an exceptional service because I've used them for years. ZocDoc is a free app and website that allows you to search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, pick the one that meets your specific needs, and click instantly to book an appointment. You can filter by expertise, location, and insurance. And you can even see how previous patients have rated the doctors. And I will tell you, the scheduling function within ZocDoc is a game changer. Instead of having to call in and get a hold of the doctor's office over the phone to schedule the appointment, ZocDoc allows you to see the doctor's availability online. You can schedule online. Typically, you get an appointment within 24 to 72 hours. I can't say enough positive things about ZocDoc. I recommend you check them out. Stop putting off your needed doctor's appointments. Go to ZocDoc.com/PopPsych to find and book a top-rated doctor today.
You know what? I know. I go home, and my husband is waiting for me at the door.
Your husband with the boobs, and you got the brawn, honey.
Oh my God!
What do I think about that? I am, based on that interaction, I am on Team Danielle. I think that Jennifer, look, it's exceptionally immature. I mean, you sort of have to, you've watched this show and you have to just sort of like get in the mind of a 12-year-old, and that's kind of how they're operating emotionally. So if you sort of get beyond that step of this, I was just critiquing earlier the pseudo insult where Louie said, I hope her son suffers. And everybody was like really outraged about how personal that was and how dare you go after a child and all that. And I think it's really a zero. The son probably doesn't care. It's not impacting any of the women. We're just whipping up drama. The attack on Danielle's husband and his body, I think, is probably very personal. My guess would be, just based on that reaction, that he is ashamed of that part of his body. I bet that he suffers with the fact that it's on national television and that he gets scrutinized for it. He's very insecure. And for her to comment on that was a deliberate poke at somebody not in the room, and a poke that will hurt. And so for Danielle to react like that, I think actually makes sense to me. I think it was a low blow.
Like, it can't get violent like that.
No.
I'm going to Danielle. Don't go far.
No, she's not. She's not.
I will say, I don't love that reaction from Jennifer. That like, oops, look what I did. Oops, sorry. Right? She knows exactly what she did. She manipulated and maneuvered the situation. She said the most caustic, negative thing she could think of to hurt the person across the table. And that ended up being about her husband, who's not even in the room. And it is something that I would imagine many people in the audience are now going to go look up her husband, going to look up his chest, right? This is bringing extra scrutiny, extra tangible scrutiny to something that he is insecure about, and he's not part of this conversation. I think it was categorically a shitty thing to do, and this, like, what did I do? Oopsie attitude makes me not love her.
Don't, Teresa. Not the fucking time.
Oh, she's yelling at you.
So just let her be hurt for a second. Look what Margaret's fucking been doing. Stop, it's not about you right now.
We're not diagnosing anybody. I don't know Teresa, but that dynamic right there is representative of incredible selfishness, right? You have this person that's crying, actively grieving, people are there to support her, and everybody is telling Teresa, dial it down, now's not the time. And all Teresa can do is say, yeah, but what about what Margaret said to me, right? And Teresa's like doesn't even clock how selfish that is.
Are you fucking crying? Good. Dude, she's fucking aggressive, yo. I feel like back in the day of the cheerleader. She's aggressive. She is aggressive.
This Jennifer is a nightmare, a disastrous friend. My assumption is everybody in the fandom must have a negative reaction to her. Am I right on that? Because I can't stomach her based on what is being depicted here.
I understand you being furious, but the violent piece of it, I'm sure you regret.
I don't like to be around that. I mean, I know I took my frustrations out on the table, you know, but I would never physically harm someone, you know?
Teresa's delusional. Right. I know. In a previous reaction, I have come to her defense, and I stand by my defense of her. I stand by some of my defense of her. But this like attitude of like holier than thou, like she's clutching her pearls. I can't believe that there's all of this drama. I would never engage in that. Is crazy.
Say it one time. You brought up my mother's husband's name
And you do the same.
You fucking hot dog lip mouth.
I don't even know what I don't even know how to react to it. They're just screaming at each other. Like there's zero effort to talk through. I don't even know how to react to it. They're just screaming at each other. There is zero effort on anybody's part to actually work through an issue. The sad thing is, it does feel like it's so caustic. It's such a negative environment that it's not like it's not drama that can continue for the consumption of the audience. Like it's like as a viewer, it feels like it's not fun anymore. It's just like they just all hate each other, and that's the end of the story. They have to, at some level, get along to be able to have a show together, right?
Thirsty, we're dirty, we're deeply insecure, and we're hoping season 15 will occur.
It's a unique way to end the episode. I thought it was... I mean, honestly, it's like my beef with this show. I've tried to watch episodes of this show. There's so much... It's so... there's always so much screaming that I have a hard time like attending to it and giving a shit about the characters. I guess that's my global reaction is, yeah, I think it is a bunch of insecure women just attacking each other in hopes of attention. And so I just struggle with the show. That's my reaction. Let me know what you think. I did not find this to be very entertaining, to be honest.